Hey guys, welcome to this quick video on how to quick start the F-14b by Heatblur Simulations on DCS World. So the aim of this video, unlike others currently on YouTube, is to go through the quick start process and how to get the aircraft running. That means bringing power into the aircraft, turning the bare necessities on, turning the engines on before taxiing to the runway and departing. So without further ado, let's get straight into this one. The very first thing you want to do is bring power into the aircraft. Now, bearing in mind that the F-14 does not have any APU systems on board, you'll need to do this manually by connecting the ground's electricity and ground air. You can do this by pressing the / on the keyboard, followed by F8 for ground crew, F2 for electric, and F1 to turn it on, then / again and F8 again for ground crew, F5 for air, and F1 to connect it.
Ground air supply. Ground power is now on.
Once ground power is connected, you'll start to see the lights and dials in front of you start to light up. Now at this point, you want to start setting up the comms, as well as bringing the systems onto the aircraft. What you want to do is head over to the bottom left and zoom into the radio panel and set the radio to hot start by right clicking the ICS function switch. Then you want to turn on the AFCS switches, and what this does is connects your aircraft's ailerons, rudder and all the other flight surfaces to your flight stick, and then come over to the right hand side and then turn on all of your HUDs and panels in front of you. So the VDI comes on along with the HUDs and the HSO. At this point, all the main digital displays in front of you will start to light up, and the main HDI in front of you will start to align itself to the aircraft, and eventually once connected, show a virtual display of the scenery around you. At this point, we'll now do a comms check with Jester sitting behind us. Rather than going through the Jester menu, you can simply just press Ctrl 3 on the keyboard.
Roger. Yep.
And in a moment, he'll
ICS comm check.
run through a comms check. If you can hear him, that means all is fine. You can now close the canopy by pressing Ctrl C. And then arming the ejection seats by clicking on the little red handle just above your seat. Once you have done this, you're now ready to communicate with Jester again to start up the main aircraft functions from the rear seat. You can do this by pressing Ctrl 4. At this point, you'll now start going through the main aircraft functionality setup, as well as alert you when you're ready to turn on the engines.
Alright, ready to start.
When he tells you you're ready to start, turn the engines on in the F-14 is a fairly simple process. Zoom into this panel to your left, where your throttle is, and what you want to do is set the engine starter to the right hand side. Keep an eye on the RPM panel here, and when that reaches 20%, set the fuel flow of your throttle 2 to on. At this point you'll start to hear a whine, which is the engine starter coming to life, and the RPM for your engine 2 will start to increase, as well as the power starting to raise. Once engine 2 stabilises, the engine starter switch will flick back to centre, and you can now start engine 1. By doing this, you flick the switch to the left, and just as we did with engine 2, you keep an eye on the RPM dial until it reaches 20%. Then look back at the throttle and sets that to the forward position. At this point, the engines of the F-14 have now started up, and you're almost very ready to start taxiing to the runway. With the engines now turned on, you'll hear some clicking going behind you. That's not to worry, that's just Javelin by pressing 2 on the keyboard to see out the rest of the aircraft, as well as aiming and arming the weapon systems on board. As you now have power on the aircraft active, you can now press the / again, press F8 to go to the ground crew, to disconnect both the ground electric by pressing F2 and F2 again, and then / F8, F5 for air, and disconnecting that.
Disconnect ground air supply. Ground power is now off.
At this point, we're now ready to set the wings into action, sets the yellow dial to your left hand side to the forward position. Press the master reset button in front of it, and what this should do is bring the wings out into the forward position. Once you're happy with that, set the flaps to 50% for takeoff. Right click the yellow handle to bring it into automatic mode, and then close the lock in front of it, and at this point the wings will now be in their automatic sweeping mode. So depending on your airspeed and your angle of attack, the wings will either fold in, giving you maximum aerodynamics and maximum speed, or fold out to give you more lifts as well as keep you stable during slower flight. And at this point, there's only now one more thing you need to do before you're ready to go. Now it's head over to the right hand side and cycle the air source through both engines. You now hit the air, run through the cockpit, and at this point you're now ready to release the parking brakes by pressing on the brake button. In my case it's the trigger on my joystick. Bring the throttle up to around 80%, start you moving, and to taxi down to the runway. The taxi menu should start to appear in a moment. Press N on the keyboard to activate the nose steering. And as you get towards the runway, press F1 on the keyboard to accept or reduce request takeoff. Starting base standard in DCS. Don't forget again to adjust the throttle throughout taxiing. It's not get the aircraft to run too fast. In my case, it's a bit too much. And just as normal, you can now taxi to the runway. So unlike the proper hardcore simmers on DCS, you'll go through every single checklist in the aircraft. What we have done is turn on the basics to get you going, while ignoring the full safety checks and all the lighting panels to ensure that they all work. As I said at the start, it's just a basic tutorial on how to get yourself from cold and dark to ready to go in a matter of minutes. Now line yourself on the runway. Once you're happy to go, idle throttle, hold your position, press N again to deactivate nose steering, bring the throttle up to 50%, keep an eye on the dials down here so that your RPM and engines are stable. Once you're happy with that, maximise the throttle to bring on the afterburners, and you're now ready to go. Don't forget, you've also now got access to the rudder, to keep your aircraft stable in the centre of the runway. Gear up, once you've taken off. Just like that, you're now taking the F-14 off, from cold and dark, ready to fly. So, I'm going to enjoy this tutorial. Leave a like if you did, do subscribe to the channel as well. Hopefully, I'll be doing a lot more DCS content for this channel in the future, as this is definitely a simulator that I want to put a lot more time into. Especially now I've got the F-14, I want to spend a lot more time practicing how it works, and we're just getting a full feel for this module. So, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.